A lot of the preliminary conversations I've had with all of you clients, what we've really touched on, and which is critical to co-living working, is tenancy management. In fact, it's not plausible to consider co-living without having a really strong tenancy management arm attached to the program. And as you know, we've spent a number of months just narrowing down the best candidate for public property for our co-living. When did you start doing co-living, Caesar?
We started doing co-living or shared accommodation. It was back in '97.
Okay, so lots of experience. How are you finding the market right now for co-living? Do you see much demand?
We've got people that have high deposits waiting for properties as soon as they come up available, which means that when a tenant says to us, we're not going to continue our lease, when they get the lease renewal, it's almost 30 days beforehand, we will have a tenant ready to go into those properties. So now we have a waiting list for that because there's nothing around.
So how long do you think this pressure is going to be on the co-living market for?
It's hard to say because, Elizabeth, I don't see the biggest problem we've got is lack of land. As you know, there's no new developments because when this whole issue with COVID started, developers got scared and they pulled the plug. Then they realised that they should have gone back onto the market, and we only got properties coming out of council now. So we've lost almost 9 months of construction.
So we've got huge rental demand, primarily, and is that purely because of the floods, or was that
No.
the national migration?
That's the last thing that's happened. We had migration first. We've got people living in caravans and caravan parks around the place waiting for the homes to be completed to live in. We got people from overseas coming back from all over the world, decided to move to Queensland. And their rentals don't seem to be an issue, how much they pay for it. So we got homes now in Logan, just normal houses, renting for $560 a week, which is $200 more than we were paying this time 12 months ago.
Are you seeing our investors achieve much greater rents than they would normally achieve?
At this stage, we had something finished today. Yes, you would. We're obviously working on most of our investors moving into homes in about 6 months or more, and we expect to go back to normal, which would be about $250 per room and about $50 for the garage or the fourth bedroom. Because as you know, we only rent 3 bedrooms in a house, so $900 is more or less the target value.
Necessary to finish the house, or what are your thoughts?
So it's furnished to the living areas. So there's a fridge, TV, couch, living areas, all furnished. The tenants bring their own bedroom furniture.
Okay, so they can expect to pay $12,000 for the furniture. Will you help them arrange that?
Yes, the same way. The furniture supplier basically enters into the contract with them, and they supply the furniture and deliver it on site. And they set it all out. They put all the cutlery where it goes, all the cups and saucers. They wash them all and arrange them all in the house. So it's all set up, and they take all the rubbish away with them, and it's all ready to go.
And what do you charge
for
your tenancy management? Tell me about your fees.
We charge 9.5% for our tenancy management and $6 for the monthly paperwork and arrears, the documentation part of it.
And how are the bills divided within the house?
With co-living, there is no splitting of bills, and that's what makes it very good for the tenants, because they know they pay one fee. That fee covers their power, their water, and their internet. Now, all the homes that we have in our system are solar powered, so the owner gets a solar rebate, and there is very little out-of-pocket expense of power, if any at all.
Tenant will pay
just the one fee, so they only pay the $250 plus the garage or storage area, and there's nothing else to split up because it's all taken care of by the owner.
Okay, great. That's what I needed some clarity on. Okay, so the owner pays for all of the other amenities, the water, the internet, and all of those other services. What if the owner doesn't want to connect the internet? Can each individual be responsible for their own internet, or is it a requirement?
Unfortunately not, because the NBN connection is a single connection.
Okay.
So if the moment you start trying to do that, then the expense of that is very extreme. Depending on the area that we're in, you can get unlimited wireless internet from anything from $99 to $150. Some are $75. Depends who you choose. We recommend that we make sure it's a good provider with unlimited usage, because most of these people work from home or they study from home.
Is it a good idea when we're talking about the outgoings and the costs, what's the average cost of that per month to the investor?
Your average cost to the investor for that, the average price has been about $160. I think it's been worked out from different areas. That does depend on obviously which internet provider you've got, which you've used, and the size of the block, how much maintenance there is to do as far as water maintenance. By that I mean we've got an older block in Springfield. It's 900 square meters, lots of gardens. Obviously, the sprinklers go on, they use a lot of water. And then we've got little blocks in Logan that have no garden or very little garden, and there's no need to water it. So there is no extra water being used. Most of those tenants don't spend much time at home, so they don't use a lot of extra water. There's no kids, there's no baths. So that normally means they're within the usable amount of water within the rates bill.
What about so how do you select the tenants? Do you check their references? How does that process work for you?
We go through the full ticket check that we would do with any tenant. So that's the arrears tenants database from the RAQ. We check all those documents are correct. We check their income history. We get references. But most of all, we meet them on site and we spend time with them on site. A lot of the other agents do it online, and so basically applications online. We meet them on site. We like to see who we're dealing with, and we try and select tenants for a property that all have similar likes or similar dislikes, so that they are living together in a property with a common area. So like you wouldn't put a Carlton player with a Hawthorn player.
No.
So,
no, you would not ever. And I'm from Melbourne, so I know that.
Yeah. So that you would try and find common people. We've found that in the past that's worked very well for us. When we do university appointments for accommodation, we find that you end up with a group of Brazilians, a group of Italians, a group of similar, so a group of people that are all doing engineering, or they're all doing sciences, or they're all doing accounting, and that works well. So we do try and choose that.
Or what's the demographic of your current tenant? So what's their age group? Are they working? Say a little bit about that.
The average tenant looking for accommodation in a share scenario seems to be in the early 40s. Most of them have been previously married. That seems to be, depends which area you're working as well. Logan, closer to the city, it seems to be a high demand for that. No professional people. As you go further west, you have more laborers. They come up here for working. Some of them have families where they come from, in Sydney or Melbourne, and they've been here for 6 months to work on a contract. Or some of them have just left uni, it's their first job, the first time out of the home.
A lot of the clients that we're working with right now, we've got some really good research from different houses, and Logan looks to be a really good area for us. We've noticed that there's a huge industrial employment hub being built in there. Hospitals just been upgraded. Do you think is Logan a good area for us to consider currently? Can you see high demand in that particular area?
Yes, Logan's got the highest demand, and that's what I'm saying. In Logan, we have a lot of professional people that are actually working in the city. It is a close skip to the city, the university in Griffith. There seems to be a lot of people from there. And in general, it's had the biggest demand for accommodation across most of the western suburbs.
What about Park Ridge, Ripley, Greenbank? I mean, I know Park Ridge is adjacent to Logan, so I guess we can give that a big tick. What about Greenbank and Ripley? Any demand in those particular areas?
We are having demand in those areas. There isn't anything finished up there at this stage. All the co-living that's been done, actually waiting for settlements of land to start construction. So, but the demand seems to be high looking at the research we've done.
From our research, we were noting that the average age group for the tenant was about 33 years old, working, good references. Talk about the insurance. So when the investor buys the property, the co-living property, are they is it easy enough for them to get insurance for that property? Can they just get a standard investor insurance policy?
Yeah, they can. There's insurance available through their own lender, obviously. We've got insurance available through homeowner insurance here and in the Gold Coast with us, or share insurance. So we've got several insurances that we can supply. But in most cases, they have insurance from the lender.
Inspections do you do of the property every year?
There's inspection every 3 months on the property. There is obviously inspections when everybody moves out or moves in. With co-living, sometimes you'll have situations where the first tenant was there for 6 months, or he'll end up being there for 7 months. So you end up with overlaps in accommodation. So in all cases, you get more inspections than you normally have in a normal property. New properties, very little issues. In all the properties, you go wear and tear with chairs, especially. The legs will start wobbly, or the couch cushions will start to sag. But with new furniture, new property, you wouldn't have many problems at all for the first at least 3 years. This most commonly losing cutlery. That's the most common issue.
Oh yeah, I could imagine that would be the thing. From a investor giving you instruction to sign the property, how long is it taking you on average now just to accommodate 3 tenants into a property? It sounds to me, because of the demand, it's happening very quickly.
That's correct. Yeah, due to the situation at the moment, if we have a good communication between the builder, the owner, and us, we can have one pretty much ready to go, a handover. But that's the trickiest part, because the builders won't give you a handover till your final payment's made. Sometimes between the time the lender has been told that they're ready to settle and the handover occurs, they can't give us a fixed date. So they can't say to us the 1st of June, you will give you the keys, until after the lender's paid the final payment. So it's always hard to try and get tenants to start on a date when you haven't got a date.
How long are the tenants staying for on average? So if you accommodate 3 new tenants, what's their average length?
6 to 12 months is the average lease being issued. In Basile Lakes, there's some tenants that have been doing shared accommodation, as we used to call it, which means that there is no ensuite in each room. There's basically one ensuite and one bathroom. Some of those people have been there for several years.
Okay. I want to thank you for your time today, Caesar. Thank you so much.